Greetings, everybody, and welcome back to Wolfinia. This is episode 306 of my Minecraft survival series, and in the last episode, well, the last few episodes, we've done quite a bit of work over here at WARF, the Wolfen's Aquatic Research Facility, where we have reinvigorated our kelp farm, we have reinvigorated our guardian farm, and everything over here seems to be actually going pretty great. So I think that at this point, we're going to go ahead and depart from WARF. We're going to make our way back into the city, back into Wolfinia, and start getting some work done, probably in one of the districts that could use it the most, the outer residential district right over here, where we have, well, one villager house and the fire station, both on opposite ends of the district, and both looking pretty lonely. And I suppose given that we are going to be working in what is essentially the villager residential district, it makes sense that we would be working on a villager residence. And after some consideration, I think the next house we're going to build is the one that'll sit right here. So, at this point, let's go ahead and call the drone on over, put on a little bit of music, and get to work. Welcome back, everybody, and at this point, we have another house. So, let's go ahead and have a look at this thing, yeah? It's a pretty big house, and the reason for that is to house more villagers, but also, so that way it's visible from various different areas around the outer residential district. You'll notice as we kind of move around here that no matter where we go, we can see it, and also it doesn't really hide its neighbor from most areas either, which is something I've been trying to take into consideration. Just kind of having the most structures visible from any given place at any given point in time. Now, interior-wise, we have the lower common room. If we head up the stairs here, we have a little living area right here, sparsely furnished, and a small bedroom right here. And if we go upstairs, we have more bedrooms, also sparsely furnished, because, well, this is the responsibility of whoever moves in here to decorate it as they choose. Wolfen's Laboratories can only provide so much, you know? But that is pretty much all there is to see here, at least until somebody actually moves in, you know? But I do think that is a good addition to this area. Now, we're not done with the residential district just yet for this episode, because there is something else I want to do out here, a matter of some degree of importance. Because we have our fire station right here, right? The fire station being pretty much the first build in this particular district. And as a part of the fire station, we have our fire wagon, which recently we've made skinny enough to actually traverse the roads around Wolfenia. Though it might have a little bit of difficulty clunking on down these stairs right here, in case it needs to head this way to put out any fires that might happen in other districts of the city. Now, Wolfens forbid that happens, because I think we are pretty fireproofed at this point. We have a lot of lightning rods around to catch the lightning, and that's our main fire starter in the city. And I think every other area of the city is pretty flat enough that it shouldn't have any trouble reaching those areas. So the only real issue is the stairs here, and that can be solved easily enough by maybe having a ramp that goes down. Yeah, it just goes down this way and curves around. We got the space available for it. And there we go. So now, when our firefighters get a call, they got a ramp to go down instead of stairs where they're going to clunk the wagon down, spill water all over the place. No. Now they can go from out here, the outer residential district, to pretty much anywhere else in Wolfenia. Now, while there is more here in the residential district I would like to do, I think it's going to require a bit more thought before I get started on anything else out here. So instead of that, I think we're going to move over just slightly to the waterside entrance into Wolfenia, into the New Moon Bay, because we got it dressed up until about right here. And you can see after this point, it kind of falls off into just, well, bland blah and all that. So I'm thinking some seascaping along the inlet here might be necessary. Now, before we can bring this seascaping in from the New Moon Bay all the way through the inlet here, as you can see, we got some areas which are not built out at all, so some terraforming is going to be needed first. And I'm going to put this here kind of as a reminder to future me. We're going to need more mud, because while we do have a fair amount right now, we don't have nearly enough to continue this project in the long term. We're going to need a lot of this stuff. The mud's going to go everywhere. The whole ocean floor around Wolfenia is just going to be muddy. And I think at this point I got a bunch of stuff gathered. I think we're almost ready to go, as long as I can figure out where I left that thing. That thing right there. That's what I need. My conduit. I didn't forget the name of it or anything like that. It's not like I just looked it up to, because I couldn't remember what this thing was called. But at this point, I think I have everything I need, and I think we are ready to go. Now, this side over here is going to have to be built out entirely. This side over here will probably need to be reshaped a little bit before we bring all that stuff out throughout this entire area and kind of dress up the whole thing so that way it looks presentable. And this is going to be a lot of work, so I think that we should probably go ahead and get started on it right now. Let's go ahead and call the drone on over here, put on a little bit of music, and get to work. Welcome back, everybody. We got big progress happening over here on the outskirts of Wolfinia. The inlet is now complete. The waterside entrance into Wolfinia, I think, is looking pretty awesome. And I am overall very happy with it. It is always nice to see big progress, and I do think this is big progress. Not to sell short the villager house we built, but, you know, this is... Yeah, see, that's what I get. That's what I get for trying to play favorites. Almost did it. Almost said it. Anyway, from up here, we can see almost everything we've worked on today, and overall, I am thinking that's a good bit of progress for this episode. Got our workstation moved out there for the continuation of the seascaping. But I think this is quite enough for one day. I had to throw a little bit more bone meal right here. It's looking a little bare. Now, of course, when we do continue, there is a lot more work to be done, and this, I don't even know how far we are going to extend this. In all honesty, it will probably go on past WARF, just so we can have a unified area, make everything kind of fit in with each other. Like, make it all cohesive, right? We got the whole ocean floor here to take into account. I don't mind it, though, because I like projects like this. It requires a lot less thought, a lot less planning than, you know, builds and stuff like that, so... The landscaping, the seascaping, I am kind of actually looking forward to it. But that is where we're going to go ahead and call it for today, guys. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you'll stick around for the next one. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I deeply appreciate it. And until next time, I will see you guys later.